Hello everyone, I, Ghosh, welcome you all to Ghosh Biology. Today we have an incredibly important topic to discuss navigating the path to mental wellness. In this session, we'll explore the journey towards a healthier mind, and I will provide you with valuable insights and tips to help you or someone you know on this path. So, what exactly is mental wellness? It's all about achieving a state of emotional, psychological, and social well being. Just like we take care of our physical health, it's vital to look after our mental health. The World Health Organization (WHO) conceptualizes mental health as a state of well being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her own community. It is an integral component of health and well being that underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships, and shape the world we live in. Mental health is a basic human right, and it is crucial to personal, community, and socio-economic development. Why mental health is important? An individual's mental health ties into their emotional, psychological, social, and even physical well being. Our mental health can impact how we feel, how we think, and how we act. It helps us build relationships with others, deal with life stresses, and make healthy choices. Physical and mental health are particularly closely linked. Several mental health issues, such as anxiety and depression, are linked to an increased risk of health conditions such as heart diseases and diabetes. The same is true for the reverse, chronic illness, and can increase the risk of mental illness. On a global scale, the mental health relates to a range of different social issues such as social inclusion, economic development, and human rights. For individuals, nations, and the global community, it's vital that we are aware of the importance of mental health and the role it plays in our daily lives. So, we have major three questions on the slide. The first is that why is mental health important for overall health? Mental and physical health are equally important components of overall health. For example, depression increases the risk for many types of physical health problems, particularly long lasting conditions like diabetes, heart diseases, and stroke. Similarly, the presence of chronic conditions can increase the risk for mental illness. The second question is, can your mental health change over time? Yes, it's important to remember that a person's mental health can change over time depending on many factors. When the demands placed on a person exceed their resources and coping abilities, their mental health could be impacted. For example, if someone is working long hours, caring for a relative, or experiencing economic hardship, they may experience poor mental health. The third major question is that what impacts mental health? There are various factors that can affect mental health. Issues such as trauma, loneliness, bereavement, stress, and physical illness can all contribute towards poor mental well being. Moreover, there are several social factors that can influence mental health. In these include discrimination and stigma, poverty, debt and social disadvantage, homelessness and poor housing, adverse life experiences, poor education, food insecurity. These issues, along with other lifestyle factors, can all influence the mental health of individuals and societies. As we'll see, recent events have highlighted a growing inequity in the onset and outcomes of mental health around the world. In improving mental health worldwide, every year on October 10th, countries and organizations around the world mark World Mental Health Day. It's a time to raise awareness about mental health issues around the world and encourage people to discuss the issues and solutions around mental health. World Mental Health Day was first observed on October 10th, 1992 by the World Federation of Mental Health. Initially, the event was created as an educational day with the goal of promoting mental health advocacy. Since 1996, The event has had a theme linked to it. These often highlight some of the main issues linked to mental health at the time and include areas such as human rights, age, gender, suicide, culture, and specific mental health disorders. So, why does it matter? World Mental Health Day is observed in many countries worldwide, and it's an important occasion for many reasons. First and foremost, it raises awareness of some of the key issues for those suffering from mental health disorders. Education is a vital part of the event, allowing those affected by poor mental health to recognize that help is available. Similarly, it helps to highlight the inequalities in mental health treatment both on a national and international scale. Ultimately, the more mental health is an issues discussed on a global scale, the more that leaders, organizations, and nations will take steps to address the inequalities. World Mental Health Day is not just a one off weather, it's a sustained approach to help as many people as possible and raise mental health awareness. A famous British writer, C.S. Lewis, once said, mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common and also more hard to bear. It seems that carrying a great weight. And here's a report from the Times of India that cause for major concerns about the mental health. The report says that 13.7% prevalence of mental illness in India as per National Mental Health Survey 2016. 28% of global suicides occur in India. Access to mental health care, 49% had a mental health facility within 20-kilometer radius. 26% reported no mental health facility within 50-kilometer radius. 59% reported lack of any de-addiction service in their area. The awareness about mental health, 57% not aware of any person with mental illness. 28% did not consider suicide to be associated with mental illness. In insurance for mental health care, 80% had no health insurance or thought mental health treatment was not covered. The history of mental health treatment and understanding is a complex and evolving one. Here's a brief overview of significant points in the history of mental health. The first one is ancient beliefs. In ancient civilizations, mental health issues were often contributed to supernatural causes, such as possessions by evil spirits. Treatment often involved rituals and exorcisms. The second one is Hippocrates and humoral theory. In ancient Greece, Hippocrates introduced the idea that mental disorders had natural causes. He developed the theory of imbalances in the four humors blood, black bile, yellow bile, and phlegm as a basis for understanding mental illness. Third is asylums. During the Middle Ages and into the 18th century, madhouses or asylums were established to houses and isolate people with mental disorders. Conditions in these facilities were often deplorable. The fourth is moral treatment. In the late 18th century and early 19th centuries, there was a movement towards more human treatment of the mentally ill. Pioneers like Philip Pinel and William Took advocated for moral treatment which emphasized kindness and therapy rather than restraints and isolations. The fifth, psychiatry and psychoanalysis. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the emergence of psychiatry as a medical specialty. Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis introduced the idea of the unconscious mind and revolutionized our understanding of psychological issues. The sixth point is deinstitutionalization. In the mid 20th century, there was a push to deinstitutionalize mental health care, moving away from large asylums and towards community based care. This movement aimed to provide better living conditions and reduce stigma. Seventh is psychopharmacology. The development of psychiatric medications such as antidepressants and antipsychotics Psychotics in the mid 20th century transformed the treatment of mental disorders. These drugs helped manage symptoms and improve the quality of life for many. Eighth is a biopsychosocial model. Contemporary mental health care often adopts a biopsychosocial model which considers biological, psychological, and social factors in understanding and treating mental health issues. Ninth, anti stigma efforts. In recent years, there has been a growing emphasis on reducing stigma around mental health. Public awareness campaigns, advocacy groups, and educational efforts aim to encourage open conversations about mental health. And the last, 10th one is innovations in therapy. Therapeutic approaches have diversified and include cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), dialectical behavioral therapy (DBT), mindfulness based therapies, and more. These evidence based therapies are widely used. The history of mental health reflects a gradual shift from mysticism and fear to a more scientific and compassionate understanding of mental disorders. Today, mental health treatment is multidisciplinary and the focus is on holistic well being, personalized care, and reducing the stigma associated with mental health challenges. Now, let's have a look to some stats regarding mental health issues. One out of seven Indians suffer from mental disorders. Number of people with mental disorders doubled between 1919 to and 2017. In 2070, India had 197.3 million people living with mental illness. Suicide rates higher in the southern states than in northern states. And talking about mental health in a budget, in budget 23 to 24, the Department of Mental Health and Family Welfare was allocated an estimated rupees 86,175 crore and Department of Health Research was allocated rupees 2,980 crore rupees. Of these, the estimated allocation towards mental health this year is around rupees 918 crore. And overall, 300 million people affected by the depression, 60 million people affected by bipolar affective disorder. Now, importance of mental health. Why is mental health important? Mental health relates to a person's emotional, psychological, and social well being. It is more important because it affects every aspect of our lives, and mental health conditions influence everything we do, think, or say. Mental and physical well being are equally crucial components of general wellness. For example, depression raises the threat of multiple physical health problems, especially heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Likewise, chronic illness can increase the risk of mental sickness. Keeping positive mental fitness can boost productivity, enhance our self image, and improve relationships with our loved ones. It helps in boosting our spirits, lowering our anxiety, increasing one's sense of inner peace, clarity of thought, improving our interactions, boosting our self esteem. So, when is mental health treatment necessary? Every mental health disorders shows some set of signs and symptoms. In general, however, professional assistance may be required if you experience significant changes in personality, eating or sleeping habits, inability to deal with problems or carry out daily routine work, feeling of disconnection from family or friends, thinking that is unusual or magical, excessive worry, prolonged melancholy, depression or apathy, suicidal or self harming thoughts or statements, misuse of drugs, mood swings that are extreme, excessive rage, hostility, or violence. Many people who suffer from mental illness ignore their symptoms as a normal part of life or avoid seeking help out of shame or fear. If you are worried about your mental health, don't be afraid to seek help. Certain medications or psychological treatments can relieve the distress related to the symptoms and can aid to reduce the symptoms. Now we'll be talking about some myths and facts regarding mental health issues. According to UNICEF, dispelling myths about mental health can help break the stigma and create a culture that encourages people of many ages to seek support when they need it. Here are seven common misconceptions about mental health. The first myth is that if a person has a mental health condition, it means the person has low intelligence, while the fact is totally different. Mental illness, like physical illness, can affect anyone regardless of intelligence, social class, or income level. Second myth about you only need to take care of your mental health if you have a mental health condition. While the fact is, everyone can benefit from taking active steps to promote their well being and improve their mental health. Similarly, everyone can take active steps and engage in healthy habitats to optimize their physical health. The third myth is poor mental health is not a big issue for teenagers. They just have mood swings caused by hormonal fluctuations and act out due to a desire for attention. While the fact is different. It says that teenagers often have mood swings, but that does not mean that adolescents may not also struggle with their mental health. 14% of the world's adolescents may experience mental health problems. Globally, among those aged 10 to 15, suicide is the fifth most prevalent cause of death. And for adolescents aged 15 to 19, it is the fourth most common cause. Half of all mental health conditions start by the age of 14. The fourth myth is that nothing can be done to protect people from developing mental health condition. While the fact is many factors can protect people from developing mental health conditions, including strengthening social and emotional skills, seeking help and support early on, developing supportive, loving, warm family relationships, and having a positive school environment and healthy sleep patterns. The ability to overcome adversity relies on a combination of protective factors, and neither environmental nor individual stressors alone will necessarily result in mental health problems. Children and adolescents who do well in the face of adversity typically have biological resistance as well as strong supportive relationships with family, friends, and adults around them, resulting in a combination of protective factors to support well being. The fifth myth says that a mental health condition is a sign of weakness. If the person were stronger, they would not have these conditions. While the fact is, a mental health condition has nothing to do with being weak or lacking willpower. It is not a condition people choose to have or not have. In fact, recognizing the need to accept help for mental health conditions requires great strength and courage. Anyone can develop a mental health condition. Talking about the sixth myth, adolescents who get good grades and have a lot of friends will not have mental health conditions because they have nothing to be depressed about. While the fact is different. Depression is a common mental health condition resulting from a complex interaction of social, psychological, and biological factors. Depression can affect anyone regardless of their socioeconomic status or how good their life appears at face value. Young people doing well in the school may feel pressure to succeed, which can cause anxiety, or they may have challenges at home. They may also experience depressions or anxiety for no reason that can be easily identified. The seventh myth is that bad parenting cause mental conditions in adolescents. While the fact is, many factors, including poverty, unemployment, and exposure to violence, migration, and other adverse circumstances and events, may influence the well being and mental health of adolescents, their caregivers, and the relationships between them. Adolescents from loving, supporting homes can experience mental health difficulties, as can adolescents from homes where there may be caregivers who need support to maintain an optimum environment for healthy adolescents' development. With support, caregivers can play essential role in helping adolescents to overcome any problems they experience. Now we'll be talking about the one of the major issues nowadays regarding mental health, the COVID-19 and mental health. The COVID-19 pandemic has had numerous effects on mental health, both during and after the pandemic. Here are some of the key points. So let's talk about first the during COVID-19 pandemic and the mental health situations. So first point is that increased anxiety and stress. The uncertainty, fear of infection, economic instability, and isolation during the pandemic led to heightened anxiety and stress for many individuals. Second is that depression, social isolation, job loss, and grief from losing loved ones contributed to increased rate of depressions. Third is that social isolation, lockdowns, quarantines, and social distancing measures led to social isolation, which can be particularly challenging for individuals prone to loneliness and depression. The fourth is that grief and loss. Many people lost loved ones to COVID 19, and the inability to hold traditional funerals and say proper goodbyes added to the grief and mourning process. Fifth point says that economic uncertainty, job loss, and financial insecurity during the pandemic caused significant stress and anxiety for individuals and families. Sixth is that frontline worker stress. Healthcare workers and essential workers faced high levels of stress, exhaustion, and trauma due to the demands of their jobs and the risk of exposure to their virus. Seventh is that disruption of routine. The closure of schools and workplaces disrupted daily routines, which can be detrimental to mental health, especially for children and those with existing mental health conditions. The next is that increased substance use. Some turn to alcohol or drugs as a way to cope with the stress and uncertainty, and that leads to mental health condition. And the ninth is that delayed or limited access to mental health services. Access to mental health services was disrupted, and many people had difficulty accessing therapy and counseling during lockdowns. Now let's talk about the after the pandemic and the mental health conditions. So here, regarding the first point is that long-term mental health effects. Many individuals continue the experience to mental health conditions effect of the pandemic even after it has subsided. Seven, and now the next point is that post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD). Some who experience severe illness or loss may develop PTSD. Third is that health anxiety. People may continue to have heightened health anxiety and fears of future pandemics. The next is reintegration stress. The process of returning to normal life can be stressful as individuals readjust to social interactions and work routines. Next is that ongoing economic impact. Financial struggles may persist, causing continued stress and anxiety. And the sixth point is that concerns about new variants. The emergence of new variants can trigger anxiety and stress about the potential for another wave of infection. And here's how to dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic trauma. So let's talk about that. Dealing with post-COVID-19 pandemic mental health challenges requires a combination of self-care, professional support, and social understanding. Here are some strategies to help individuals cope. So the first point is that seek professional help. If you are struggling with persistent mental health issues, consider reaching out to mental health professionals such as therapists, counselors, or psychiatrists. They can provide tailored guidance and treatment. Next is stay connected. Reconnect with friends and loved ones. Social support is crucial for mental well being. Share your feelings and concerns with those you trust. Third point says that self care. Prioritize self care activities like exercise, a balanced diet, and sufficient sleep. These can have significant impact on mental health. So, the fourth point says that mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness practices and meditation can help reduce stress and anxiety. These techniques teach you to stay present in the moment and manage negative thoughts. The fifth point is that limit news consumption. While it's important to stay informed, excessive exposure to news about the pandemic and related stressors can worsen anxiety. Set boundaries on your media consumption. Sixth point is establish a routine. Reintroduce your structure into your daily life. Having a routine can provide a sense of stability and purpose. Seventh point is that gradual reintegration. As restriction is, take your time reintegrating into social and work environments. Be patient with yourself as you adjust. Next, it says that focus on resilience. Reflect on how you coped during the pandemic and the strengths you have developed. Use these skills to face ongoing challenges. The ninth is that set realistic goals. Avoid overwhelming yourself with unrealistic expectations. Set achievable goals and celebrate your successes. 10th point is says that practice gratitude. Focusing on gratitude can improve your mental outlook. Try to regularly acknowledge the positive aspects of your life. The next point says that limit substance use. If you turn to substances like alcohol or drugs during the pandemic, consider seeking help to reduce or eliminate these habits. The next point says that support groups. Joining a support group for people who have experienced similar challenges can be comforting and provide a sense of community. The 13th point is that healthy lifestyle choices, exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate sleep play a vital role in mental health. Aim to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Next point says that talk openly, encourage open conversations about mental health to reduce stigma. Sharing your experiences can help others and create a more supportive environment. And the last point says that professional development. If you are experienced job loss or career disruption, consider professional development or education to improve your job prospects. So remember that healing from the mental health effects of the pandemic is a process that varies from person to person. It's essential to be patient with yourself and seek help when needed. If you or someone you know in this crisis, don't hesitate to contact the crisis helpline or emergency services. Mental health is a priority and support is available. So here's two reports. One is from Statista publications and that is US based. So it shows that pandemic causes spike in anxiety and depression. The percentage of US adults showing symptoms of anxiety and or depressive disorders. The three graphs clearly shows that in the period of June 2020 was in the peak in the graph than others. And the other reports from Times of India, it shows that younger people were hardest hit. Additional prevalence due to COVID-19 by age. It also shows that the younger people mostly ranges by age 25 average. That was major depressive disorders, while the anxiety disorders, it also ranges from almost 20 to 35, 40 these ages peoples, while the COVID-19 pandemic. And here's the second major issues regarding the mental health breakup in the relationships. So, breakups are hard, especially when they come as a shock. It's natural to go through a lot of painful emotions. You might even get physical symptoms like headache or chest pain. These should lessen over time. If they don't, you might have depression. You don't have to go through your breakup alone. Talk to your doctor if your down mood never leaves or it gets in the way of your daily life. Together you can find the right treatment to help you move on. So why breakups are hard? Romantic love can be like drug. It triggers the release of feel good chemicals in your brain. Losing it in a breakup can cause emotional and physical problems like anxiety and tiredness. Emotional stress can also send out a rush of stress hormones that make you feel like you are having a heart attack. That's called broken heart syndrome. And sometimes your identity gets wrapped in the we of your relationships. That means a breakup can disrupt how you think about yourself. You might feel uneasy as you adjust to your new self concept. Some other common symptoms after a breakup include loneliness, sadness, irritability, a change in appetite, sleep trouble. A breakup tends to cause more distress in certain situations that includes you don't expect it, you are very committed, you live together, you feel rejected or betrayed, you are a teenager or young adult. So, how to tell if you are depressed? It's common to feel crummy while for a while after breakup, but major depressive disorders or clinical depression is different than normal sadness. It's constant, lasts at least 2 weeks. and can affect all aspects of your life. Stressful life events like breakup can trigger depression, but it's possible to have depression like symptoms without having a mood disorder. It's important to know that symptoms to look for. To have clinical depression, you need to have several of the followings like ongoing sadness or worry, an empty feeling, irritability, tiredness, general feelings of guilt or worthlessness, no hope for the future, less interest in things you used to like, appetite changes, sleep problems, trouble thinking clearly or making decisions, slow moving or talking, restlessness, headache, body pain or stomach problems, thoughts of death or suicide. So, how to deal? It will take some time, but there are steps you can take to get through your breakup. Everyone is different, so what helps someone else might not work for you. The important things is that you take care of yourself along the way. Here are some healthy ways to feel better. Avoid social media. You might be tempted to check up on your ex, but these reminders might trigger bad feelings and slow down your recovery. Avoid your ex. This isn't always possible, especially if you have kids, but try to limit contact as much as possible right after the breakup. Set thoughts boundaries. You are more likely to get depressed if you ruminate. That's when you think about something over and over again. You might gain some control over your obsessive thoughts if you reverse only certain amount of time each day, say 30 minutes, to process your breakup. Meditate. Mindfulness meditation teaches you to focus on the present moment. Studies show the practice might help you worry and ruminate less. Exercise. Physical activity a few times a week for 3 to 6 months might help lessen symptoms of depression in some people. Go easy on yourself. A breakup can hurt your self esteem. Instead of dwelling on what you did wrong, try to learn from your mistakes. That will help you have better relationships down the road. Talk about how you are doing. Don't keep your feelings bottled up. One study shows that people felt better when they meet with researchers to discuss how well they were handling their breakup. Don't isolate yourself. Even if you don't talk about your breakup, it's important to connect with other people. If you can't meet in person, text or video chat with friends or family. Look to the future. Thoughts of your next relationships or focusing on yourself might help you feel hopeful going forward. Journaling. Writing about your feelings and thoughts can be a therapeutic outlet. It helps you process your emotions and gain clarity. Time and patience. Understand that healing takes time. Be patient with yourself and don't rush the process. Grief is a natural part of healing. Avoid unhealthy coping mechanisms. Stay away from excessive alcohol or substance use, which can provide short term relief but exacerbate long term emotional issues. Support groups. Consider joining a support group or online community for people going through similar experiences. Sharing with others who understand can be comforting. Monitor your mental health. Pay attention to any signs of depression or anxiety that persist and seek immediate professional help if needed. So, when to get professional help? Check in with your primary doctor or a psychologist if your low mood is constant and doesn't get any better after the couple of weeks. You should make an appointment earlier if you can't do normal activities like bath, eat, or go to work. Your doctor might want you to try one of or both of the following, like talk therapy. A counselor can help you process your thoughts and emotions in a healthier way. You might benefit from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, interpersonal therapy, or problem solving therapy. Medications. Antidepressants work on chemicals in your brain that affect how you feel and deal with stress. You might need to try several options to find the right one. Give them at least 2 to 4 weeks to work. Don't stop talking with them without talking to your doctor first. Get help right away if you think about hurting yourself. Thoughts of suicide or any other symptoms are a serious symptoms of depression. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline anytime. So remember, everyone's experience is unique and there's No one size fits all solution. It's crucial to tailor your approach to what works best for you and when necessary, seek help from mental health experts who can provide personalized guidance. And here's the third major issue regarding mental health: social media. Social media and mental health. While many of us enjoying staying connected on social media, excessive use can fuel feelings of addiction, anxiety, depression, isolation, and FOMO. In today's world, many of us rely on social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, and Instagram to find and connect with each other. While each has its benefits, it's important to remember that social media can never be a replacement for real world human connection. It requires in person contact with others to trigger the hormones that elevate stress and make you feel happier, healthier, and more positive. Ironically, for a technology that's designed to bring people closer together, spending too much time engaging with social media can actually make you feel more lonely and isolated and exacerbate mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. So, there are two aspects of social media, and the positive aspects and the negative aspects. So let's talk about the positive aspects first of social media. While virtual interactions on social media doesn't have the same psychological benefits as face-to-face contact, there are still many positive ways in which it can help you stay connected and support your well-being. Social media enables you to communicate and stay up to date with family and friends around the world, find new friends and communities, network with other people who share similar interests or ambitions, join or promote worthwhile causes, raise awareness on important issues, seek or offer emotional support during tough times, find virtual social connections if you live in remote area, for example, or have limited independence, social anxiety, or are a part of marginalized group. Find an outlet for your creativity and self-expression. Discover with care sources or valuable information and learning. And talking about the negative aspects of social media, since it's a relatively new technology, there's little research to establish the long-term consequences, good or bad, of social media use. However, multiple studies have found a strong link between heavy social media and an increased risk for depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. Social media may promote negative experiences such as inadequacy about your life or appearance. Even if you know that images you are viewing on social media are manipulated, they can still make you feel insecure about how you look or what's going on in your own life. Similarly, we are all aware that other people tend to share just the highlights of their lives, rarely the low points that everyone experiences. But that doesn't lessen those feelings of envy and dissatisfaction when you are scrolling through a friend's airburst photos of their tropical beach holiday or reading about their exciting new promotions at work. The fear of missing out, FOMO, and social media addiction. While FOMO has been around far longer than social media sites such as Facebook and Instagram seem to exacerbate feelings like that others are having more fun or living better lives than you are. The idea that you are missing out on certain things can impact your self esteem, trigger anxiety, and fuel even greater social media use. Much like an addiction, FOMO can compel you to pick up your phone every few minutes to check for updates or compulsively respond to reach and to each and every alert. Even if that means taking risks while you are driving, missing out on sleep at night, or prioritizing social media interactions over real world relationships. Isolation. A study at the University of Pennsylvania found that high usage of Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram increases rather decreases feelings of loneliness. Conversely, the study found that reducing social media usage can actually make you feel less lonely and isolated and improve your overall well being. Depression and anxiety. Human beings need face to face contact to be mentally healthy. Nothing reduces stress and boosts your mood faster or more effectively than eye to eye contact with someone who cares about you. The more you prioritize social media interactions over in person relationships, the more you are at risk for developing or exaggerating mood disorders such as anxiety and depression. Cyberbullying. About 10% of teens report being bullied on social media, and many other users are subjected to offensive comments. Social media platforms such as Twitter can be hotspots for spreading hurtful rumors, lies, and abuse that can leave lasting emotional scars. Self absorption, sharing endless selfies and all your innermost thoughts on social media can create an unhealthy self centeredness and distance you from real life connections. And here's some signs that social media is impacting your mental health. Everyone is different, and there is no specific amount of time spent on social media. But the frequency you check for updates or the numbers of the posts you make it in that indicates your use is becoming unhealthy. Rather, it has to do with the impact time spent on social media has on your mood and other aspects of your life, along with your motivations for using it. For example, your social media use may be problematic if it causes you to neglect face to face relationships, distracts you from work or schools, or leaves you feeling envious, angry, or depressed. Similarly, if you are motivated to use social media just because you are bored or lonely or want to post something to make others jealous or upset, it may be time to reassess your social media habits. Spending more time on social media than with real world friends. Using social media has become a substitute for a lot of your offline social interactions. Even if you are out with friends, you still feel the need to constantly check social media, often driven by feelings that others may have having more fun than you. The second point is that comparing up yourself unfavorably with others on social media. You have low self-esteem, or negative body image. You may have patterns of disordered eating. The next is that experiencing cyberbullying, or you worry that you have no control over the things people post about you. The next point is that being distracted at school or work. You feel pressure to post regular content about yourself, get comments or likes on your post, or respond quickly and enthusiastically to friends' post. Having no time for a self-reflection. The next point is that every spare moment is filled by engaging with social media, leaving you little or no time for reflecting on who you are, what you think, or why you act the way that you do, the things that allow you to grow as a person. Engaging in a risky behavior in order to regain likes, shares, or positive reactions on social media. You play dangerous pranks, post embarrassing materials, cyberbully others, or access your phone while driving or in other unsafe situations. Suffering from sleep problems. Do you check social media last thing at night, first thing in the morning, or even you wake up in the night? The light from phones and other devices can disrupt your sleep, which in turn can have a serious impact on your mental health, worsening symptoms of anxiety and depressions. Rather than helping to alleviate negative feelings and boost your mood, you feel more anxious, depressed, or lonely after using social media. And here's how modifying social media use to improve mental health. Step 1, reduce time online. A 2018 University of Pennsylvania study found that reducing social media use to 30 minutes a day resulted in a significant reduction in levels of anxiety, depression, loneliness, sleep problems, and FOMO. But you don't need to cut back on your social media use that drastically to improve your mental health. The same study concluded that just being more mindful of your social media use can have beneficial results on your mood and focus. While 30 minutes a day may not be a realistic target for many of us, let alone a full social media detox. We can still benefit from reducing the amount of time we spend on social media. For most of us, that means reducing how much we use our smartphones. The following tips can help. Use an app to track how much time you spend on social media each day. Then set a goal for how much you want to reduce it by. Turn off your phone at certain times of the day, such as when you are driving, in a meeting, at the gym, having dinner, spending time with offline friends, or playing with your kids. Don't take your phone with you to the bathroom. Don't bring your phone or tablet to the bed. Turn devices off and leave them in another room overnight to charge, and then go to sleep. Disable social media notifications. It's hard to resist the constant buzzing, beeping, and dinging of your phone alerting you to new messages. Turning off notifications can help you regain control of your time and focus. Limit checks. If you compulsively check your phone every few minutes, win yourself off by limiting your checks to once every 15 minutes, then once every 30 minutes, then once in an hour. There are apps that can automatically limit when you are able to access your phone. Try removing social media apps from your phones so you can only check Facebook's, Twitter, and the likes from your tablet or computer. If this sounds like too drastic a step, try removing one social media app at a time to see how much you really miss it. And the step 2, change your focus. Many of us access social media purely out of habit or to mindlessly kill moments of downtime. But by focusing on your motivation for logging on, you can not only reduce the time you spend on social media, you can also improve your experience and avoid many of the negative aspects. If you are accessing social media to find specific information, check on friends who's been ill or share new photos of your kids with family. For example, your experience is likely to be different than if you are logging on simply because you are bored. You want to see how many likes you got from a previous post or to check if you are missing out of something. Next time you go to access social media, pause for a moment and clarify your motivation for doing so. Are you using social media as a substitute for real life? Is there a healthier substitute for your social media use? If you are lonely, for example, invite a friend out for a coffee instead. Feeling depressed? Talk to Take a walk or to go to the gym. Bored? Take up a new hobby. Social media may be quick and convenient, but there are often healthier, more effective ways to satisfy a craving. Are you an active or a passive user on social media? Passively scrolling through posts or anonymously following the interactions of others on social media doesn't provide any meaningful sense of connection. It may even increase feelings of isolation. Being an active participant, though, will offer you more engagement with others. Does social media leaves you feeling inadequate or disappointment about your life? You can counter symptoms of FOMO by focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. Make a list of all the positive aspects of your life and read it back when you feel you are missing out on something better. And remember, no one's life is ever as perfect as it seems on social media. We all deal with heartache, self doubt, and disappointment, even if we choose not to share it online. And now the step 3, spend more time with offline friends. We all need the face to face company of others to be happy and healthy. At its best, social media is a great tool for facilitating real life connections, but if you have allowed virtual connections to replace real life friends in your life, there are plenty of ways to build meaningful connections without relying on social media. Set aside time each week to interact offline with friends and family. Try to make it a regular get together where you always keep your phones off. If you have neglected face to face friendships, reach out to an old friend. or an online friend and arrange to meet up. If you both lead busy lives, offer to run errands or exercise together. Join a club, find a hobby, creative endeavor, or fitness activity you enjoy, and join a group of like minded individuals that meet on a regular basis. Don't let social awkwardness stand in the way. Even if you are shy, they are a proven technique to overcome insecurity and build friendships. If you don't feel that you have anyone to spend time with, reach out to acquaintances. Lots of other people feel just as uncomfortable about making new friends as you do. So be the one to break in the ice. Invite a coworker out for a lunch, or ask a neighbor or classmate to join you for coffee. Interact with the strangers. Look out for from your screen and connect with people you cross paths with on public transport, at the coffee shop, or in the grocery store. Simply smiling or saying hello will improve how you feel, and you never know where it may lead. And now the step 4, express gratitude. Feeling and expressing gratitude about the important things in your life can be a welcome relief to the resentment, animosity, and discontent sometimes generated by social media. Take time for reflection. Try keeping a gratitude journal or using a gratitude app. Keep track of all the great memories and positivities in your life, as well as those things and people you would miss if they were suddenly absent from your life. If you are more prone to venting or negative posts, you can even express your gratitude on social media. Although you may benefit from private reflections that isn't subject to the scrutiny of others. The second point is that practice mindfulness. Experiencing FOMO and comparing yourself unfavorably to others keeps you dwelling on life disappointments and frustrations. Instead of being fully engaged in the present, you are focused on the what ifs and the if onlys, but prevent you from having a life that matches those you see on social media. By practicing mindfulness, you can learn to live more in the present moment, lessen the impact of FOMO, and improves your overall mental well-being. Volunteer. Just as human beings are hardwired to seek social connection, we are also hardwired to give to others. Helping with other people or animals not only enriches a community and benefits a cause that's important to you, but it also makes you feel happier and more grateful. Helping a child or teen with unhealthy social media use. Childhood and the teenage years can be filled with developmental challenges on social pressures. For some kids, social media has a way of exacerbating those problems and fueling anxiety, bullying, depressions, and issues with self esteem. If you're worried about your child social media use, it can be tempting to simply confiscate their phone or other device. But that can create further problems, separating your child from their friends and the positive aspects of social media. Instead, there are other ways to help your child use Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms in a responsible way. So the first point is that monitor and limit your child's social media use. The more you know about how your child is interacting on social media, the better you will be able to address any problems. Parental control apps can help limit your child's data usage or restrict their phone use to certain times of the day. You can only also adjust privacy setting on the different platforms to limit their potential exposure to bullies or predators. The second point is that talk to your child about underlying issues. Problems with social media use can often mask deeper issues. Is your child having problems fitting in at school? Are they suffering from shyness or social anxiety? Are problems at home causing them stress? The third point is that enforce social media breaks. For example, you could ban social media until your child has completed their homework in the evening. Not allow phones at the dinner table or in their bedrooms, and plan family activities that preclude the use of phones or other devices. To prevent sleep problems, always insist phones are turned off at least 1 hour before bed. The next point is that teach your child how social media is not an accurate reflection of people's lives. They shouldn't compare themselves or their lives negatively to others on social media. People only post what they want others to see. Images are manipulated or carefully poses and selected. And having fewer friends on social media doesn't make your child less popular or less worthy. The next point is that encourage exercise and offline interactions or interests. Get your child away from social media by encouraging them to pursue physical activities and hobbies that involve real world interaction. Exercise is great for relieving anxiety and stress, boosting self esteem, and improving mood, and is something you can do as a family. The more engaged your child is offline, the less their mood and sense of self-worth will be dependent on how many friends, likes or shares they have on social media. And here is some reference regarding mental health issues. You may follow these websites and these journals as well as. So thank you for joining us today for these important conversations about mental wellness. Your mental health is as vital as your physical health and you matter. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it. Let's spread awareness and support one another on the path to mental wellness. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.